Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. It's almost Super Bowl Sunday, and as I promised, in this video, I'll be showing you how to make a keto snack you can enjoy while watching the big game or anytime as a side dish. So let's get started and make these delicious, easy buffalo cauliflower bites. That is a nutritious and satisfying snack that is an alternative to very carby snacks that you might otherwise nibble on while watching the game. And I would also like to request that if you like this video or my other videos and you have not done so already, please subscribe, turn on your notification bell, like or thumbs up, and leave a comment or question. As everyone knows, YouTube has been doing a lot of changes lately, and I've noticed that one of the ways that they rate and promote a video is if it has a lot of watch time per video. So if you could, please watch the entire video at normal speed right to the end. I'd really appreciate that because it would help my ratings a lot. And also, if you're new, you may not know this, but I always choose related videos that you might like if you like this particular video. So please go to the end links and check out those other suggestions. The macronutrient ratio for the buffalo cauliflower bites is 2.7 to 1, with 4.8 grams of total carbs, 0.6 grams of soluble fiber, 0.8 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in 3.5 grams of net carbs per 100 gram serving of these delicious buffalo cauliflower bites. The first thing I always like to do is to assemble all my ingredients. And in this recipe, the next thing I do is then trim the florets off the bottom of the head of the cauliflower and cut each floret bundle as close to the central stem as you can. Here you have a choice. You can make your cauliflower bites large or cut each floret into bite-sized pieces by cutting each of the larger florets into halves or even thirds if they're very large. Once you've completed cutting all of your florets into the bite size that you like, preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit or approximately 230 degrees Celsius. Then line a baking sheet with parchment paper and then place a cooling rack on top of the baking sheet and then set these two things aside. Now it's time to make the batter, and because you'll be tossing your florets in this batter, use a very large mixing bowl. And to this bowl, add your coconut flour, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and salt. Next, pour in 1 cup of water and stir very well to combine. You'll notice that the batter at this point is very thick. You actually want the batter to be about the consistency of slightly runny pancake batter. And to get this more runny consistency, you'll probably have to add a 2nd cup of water. And that's because the coconut flour is so absorbent. And if you feel it's still not thin enough, then just add a little bit more water, mix well, and then just adjust until you've thinned out the batter properly. In this particular video, it took me about 2.5 cups of water to thin out my batter. And just before you're going to add the cauliflower to the bowl, make sure you stir the batter really well. And I'd suggest that you add about half of the florets to the batter in the first go. Stir well and make sure that all the florets are well coated. Then just add the rest of the florets to the batter and toss again until your second batch of florets are also well coated. And because of all the little nooks and tucks in the cauliflower, keep tossing for a bit and make sure that all of the batter, especially the stuff at the bottom of the bowl, has been incorporated and used up by the cauliflower. Because I'm making a large party-sized batch of buffalo cauliflower bites, I decided I'd show you 2 different methods of how to bake it in the oven. So for this first batch, I took half of the cauliflower bites and placed them directly onto the parchment paper. And the second batch, what I'm actually going to do is put them on the wire rack that is placed on top of a baking sheet. And after doing both of these methods, I'll tell you which one I think works best and why. But that'll be a little later. They're in a single layer and they're not touching. For both of these methods, just make sure that when you're arranging the florets, for both of these methods, place your pan in the middle position of your preheated oven and bake for 15 to 20 minutes, or until the florets are starting to get a nice golden color. The time will depend whether you chose to make smaller or bigger bites. Because we're being efficient today, while the florets are baking in the oven, it's time to make a batch of my keto buffalo sauce, if you haven't done this already. I will provide the link to my video under the description section. In the video, I'll fully explain how to make the sauce and what techniques you have to use to make sure that your sauce doesn't separate. So please do watch the video. And once your buffalo sauce is done, put some melted butter into a small bowl or pan and the buffalo sauce, and then just stir them together. You'll need this combination to brush onto the baked cauliflower bites. The 20-minute timer just went off, and it's time to remove the baking sheet from the oven. And my sauce is made, so I'm going to take my pastry brush or barbecuing brush, dip the brush in your barbecue sauce, brush the Keto buffalo sauce evenly over each of the roasted cauliflower florets. Once you've done the first coat, repeat with the second light coating of the buffalo sauce. And then take your tray and return it to the middle position of your oven and bake for 5 more minutes. That's all the baking time that's needed, and then remove the tray from the oven and let the florets cool before placing them on a serving platter. Now to demonstrate the second batch, the one where I place the cauliflower bites on a wire rack. I bake these with the same timing and temperature as I did my first batch. The reason for using a wire rack is so that the air circulates all the way around each of the cauliflower pieces. And now it's time to do the comparisons, since both of the batches are now done and cooled. And here are my observations. First, overall, for both methods, cauliflower bites are not crispy as many YouTubers have described them, at least not crispy in the way that I think of crispy. Both of these methods resulted in a firm, slightly dry exterior with a nice, moist, tasty interior. But in no way are these cruciferous cauliflower bites crispy. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You might get that with wheat flour, but you don't get it with the almond or coconut or whatever other flour that various people have used. When I took my cauliflower bites out of the oven, I let them rest for 30 minutes. This cooled them well enough that you could pick them up quite comfortably with your fingers. These buffalo cauliflower bites are a great snack all on their own, but traditionally buffalo wings, therefore buffalo cauliflower bites, are usually served with a dip. We alternate between 2 different dips. One dip that we really like to serve with these bites is my tzatziki, which is based on a traditional recipe and of course is keto. And the other dip that we really like is my keto blue cheese dip, which takes only 5 minutes to make. And if you're wondering if the blue cheese for these is strong, no, it's not. It's just a hint of blue cheese. And just a reminder, I will be posting a link for any video that I mention, and that will be in the description below. So we're all done and getting ready to serve. So just place these bites on a serving platter with a bowl of your favorite dip beside it. I hope you will enjoy this recipe and have fun on Super Bowl Sunday. Here's a preview for my next video, in which I'll be showing you how to make my crispy oven-baked buffalo wings. So do come back and check that video too. And if you're still here, thank you very much for watching the video to the end.